Hiya and welcome back to my YouTube channel where I nerd all about plants. Today we are gonna be talking about my Velvet Philodendron Collection. Now these plants have really grown in popularity and I can see why, because they look good, they feel good, overall 10 out of 10 plants. I'm gonna start off this video by actually telling you what makes your plant feel and look velvet. Now these plants would normally be found in high humid, tropical and warm areas where there is a lot of water. So what that means is the water is gonna be staying on the leaves for longer periods of time. And if you don't know, if the water is staying on the leaves for too long, that can lead to bacterial and fungal issues. And these plants have evolved in such a way to battle this problem. So if we take a glossy leaf, let's say like a monstera leaf here behind me, they have flat cells. But if we take velvety plants like these guys here, their cells are actually concave, which makes a bigger surface area for water to evaporate, but it also makes a leaf hydrophobic, so it means that the water will not absorb to it as much and the water will kind of just drip down the leaf. So today I'm gonna tell you a little bit about 5 philodendron species that I have here. They are all kept in high humid and warm conditions because I do have them in my greenhouse, but I'm gonna start in chronological order that I got them from, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the plant and if it is a beginner-friendly plant or not. Now, my first dip into velvety plants in general was with the Philodendron VERRUCOSUM. This plant is really beautiful. Let me just show you a little bit close. This is the cutting that I took from my mother plant back here. They have very dark velvety leaves. And the thing with the new leaves is their color is just popping. This is actually one of the newer leaves that's unfurling here. Let me just turn it so you can see the colors better. So they do have red abaxials, so that means they have the red undersides on the leaves, which I do think is pretty cool, but that can vary depending on the color most of the time. Another characteristics why I like this VERRUCOSUM is because they have fuzzy petioles. So they're not that prominent on younger plants, or even my mother plant, which is this one here. She kind of lost it when I cut her back, but now it's finally starting to regain that. The previous glory that she had. The newest leaf, let me see if I can show you. The newest leaf has some of the little hairs, and I do expect more to come in the upcoming leaves. Now this species is a climber. I do have it on a moss wall, as you can see here. This is because without it, in my experience, they tend to grow leggy. And just giving them something to climb will make them mature faster and the leaf size will increase significantly. So another thing to note about these guys is they have very thin and fragile roots, so they are prone to root rot. If you have a chance, put it in a pot that has some sort of air circulation like terracotta. I used to keep my mother plant in a terracotta and she was very happy, or just be wary with watering so you don't overwater. So if they're given proper conditions, these guys do really grow fast. I'm getting one new leaf per 2 weeks, which is pretty fast. Would I recommend Philodendron VERRUCOSUM to a beginner? I kind of wouldn't, unless you are getting an established plant that isn't stressed out. They can be quite a divas in my experience. They will show you if something is wrong. Let's say if you underwater it, the leaves will kind of just droop. And if there isn't enough humidity, the tips will kind of start to brown and yellow. They're also a pain in the ass to propagate. From my mother plant, I took 4 cuttings. I think 3 made it, but they all got some sort of rot and one just completely rotted away. Rest in peace. So do get this plant if you can provide it the conditions that it needs. I think the most important one here is the high humidity, and also if you're just up for the challenge. So the next plant that I got was Philodendron GLORIOSUM. So I think this is a classic. It's a hardship leaves and I think they're just such beautiful plants and everyone loves them. So cool thing about these guys is when the new leaf emerge, it's kind of very beautiful green color and the veins kind of pop out even more. And they show up white, where on the older leaves they kind of fade away a bit. And let me see if I can get it on the camera. They also have kind of red margins on the leaf, which kind of stays even when the leaf matures. So the new leaves have pink abaxials, which I think is pretty cool, but it sadly fades away once the new leaf starts to harden off, but that's okay. So you have to enjoy it while it lasts. So these guys can actually get huge. This is the newest leaf and it's pretty big already, but they do grow significantly once they unfurl. So I do expect it to grow at least to this size, if not more. So the rest of the plants that you see here, they're actually climbers, while this one is not. It's a crawler, so what it means is it's gonna be crawling on the floor and it's not gonna need anything to climb on. Also, since this is a crawler, they don't like having their stem buried under the soil because this can cause rot, so keep that in mind. And also because they're crawlers, they kind of grow in a straight line, and if they reach the end of the pot, the growth tip can get damaged, and this means you will get a damaged leaf, or even the growth tip will die. So this is why some people keep them in elongated pots, which I think works really well. Mine is still in a round one because it does still have room to grow. So once it reaches the end, I guess I'll just repot, or maybe I'll propagate. Who knows? This is actually the plant that I would suggest for beginners because it is such an easy one. It's not fussy about humidity. They grow perfectly fine in just normal household conditions. So if you're looking for heart-shaped velvety leaves, or you just want an easy plant, this one is the one for you. So the next plant that I got was Philodendron MELANOCHRYSUM. I actually imported 3 of these. So I got 2 medium-sized ones like this. One sadly had bad shipping. The stem kind of rotted and it didn't have much of roots, so it kind of just dropped both of the leaves that it had because it didn't have a root system to support it. So I was left with a long stem that I cut in several pieces, and a few months later I was left with a dozen of baby MELANOCHRYSUMs. Now if you know or follow me on Instagram, you know I do have a lot of these guys and I think they're just adorable. They have these beautiful dark leaves. And the cool thing about new leaves is they unfurl pink. They actually unfurl pink, at least in my conditions. This is just fresh leaf, it just opened yesterday, and I hope you can tell that it's pink. But that pink color will fade away into orange as soon as it hits light, so then it kind of turns... this is not the best example, but this is already a fading leaf when it goes from orange to green, but it will look a bit brighter than that. So these guys need high humidity so they can properly unfurl their new leaves, otherwise they'll just get stuck in the sheet, which will cause them to break and damage, and sometimes they'll just... This is like Pink Princess 2.0, you know. So you can also help the leaf with spraying it with water, like spray bottle, 2 times per day. This is really a general tip for all the new unfurling leaves because it helps to loosen up the glue that's keeping the leaf together. They do need a moss ball to climb because it is a climbing species. I do plan to get these 2 guys a moss ball soon, and when you give them moss ball, their leaf size will increase significantly and they will also be getting longer leaves, which is pretty cool because we do want those big and dark velvet leaves. Can we just appreciate the leaves because these are super velvety, especially the new ones when they're unfurled. This is the older leaf, but that's the new one. It still has orange color that they're known for. They're also called Philodendron Black Gold. I think black comes from the leaves when they mature and gold from the new leaves. So would I recommend this plant as a beginner? Actually I can, as long as you can provide it with high humidity. They really are not hard plants to look after. I never had much problems with them. If you keep it in a normal household conditions, I suggest you get some sort of humidifier. Just the small oil diffusers work well in my opinion if you don't have too big of a space. And now we are gonna be moving to the hybrids. I do have 2 hybrids here today with me. There are both hybrids with Philodendron MELANOCHRYSUM. Now, botanically speaking, hybrid is named after the 2 parents it was created with. So let's say this here is Philodendron glorious, which is a hybrid between Philodendron glorious here and a Philodendron MELANOCHRYSUM, right? So in this case, Philodendron gloriosum was the mother plant. It's also where the seeds were produced, while the Philodendron MELANOCHRYSUM was the one that donated the pollen. Now, I got this one as a trade from Miranda, thank you very much. I got it as a stem cutting with some... It had some roots, but it wasn't like a bunch of roots, but it had a decent root system for the cutting that it was. And when I got it, had a little growth point. It has already started to grow. And I did get a new leaf pretty soon as I got it. That's the new leaf, and it's actually making a new leaf here, as you can see, and I'm very excited about that. So this is the older leaf. It kind of took a beating, had a hard life. Half of it is missing because it got stuck to a yellow sticky trap. Been there, done that, it's not fun. And let me see if I can get a good close-up. It actually has a little yellow spots on the leaves. And these yellow spots are actually burns from extrafloral nectaries. So this is a sugary liquid that is produced by philodendron family in the nature. They do it to attract ants because they will come and eat off any of the pests that the plant might have. So this is a beneficial relationship. But it can be problematic if they're producing too much because it can burn the leaves. And what you can do to kind of ease it out is you can wipe the back sides of the leaves with cold water. Now, let me just show you a root system for this guy, because it does have crazy roots. It is due to be repotted, and I know it will be a pain to get it out of moss, but I will do it as soon as this new leaf unfurls and hardens off a bit, so it won't be as much of stress and shock to it. Would I recommend this plant for beginners? I think I would. Generally speaking, the hybrids are much more tougher and resilient than both of the plant parents. And last but not least, I have this philodendron hybrid here that has been recently named. It is now officially called Philodendron Splendid, and it was registered as a hybrid between VERRUCOSUM and MELANOCHRYSUM. It was created back in the 80s by Kit Henderson. Now, they are not completely aware of its parentage, if it was either VERRUCOSUM crossed with MELANOCHRYSUM or vice versa, but they have registered it as VERRUCOSUM crossed with MELANOCHRYSUM. So this is what we're gonna be calling it. So now I'm gonna tell you why this hybrid is so cool. Let me get you a little bit of a close-up of this plant. I think this one really has distinguished characteristics of both parents. Where the MELANOCHRYSUM hits in is with its elongated leaves, and they also start off orange as soon as they unfurl. But where the VERRUCOSUM kicks in is in the back. So the abaxials of the leaves are actually red. Let me see if you can get a good look at it. So it's not prominent on the older leaves, but it's finally starting to show, and I'm very excited about that. And the leaves are also super velvety. Let me see if you can see. It's a beautiful hybrid. I'm so glad I got this one in collection. So what I've spoke with people, these are pretty resilient and faster growers than both of the parents. So when I got this plant, a cataphyll was somewhat developed, but I wasn't sure it was ready to push out a new leaf. And a second day after when I got it, the new leaf was already poking out. So this plant does not give a fuck about being shipped. Doesn't care about shipping stress at all. I think the new cataphyll is already getting a bit more better, so I do hope it pushes out a new leaf pretty soon. Definitely one of my favorites. So this was it for my Velvety Philodendron collection. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. Also, please like and subscribe if you wish to see more content like this, and see you next time. Bye!